In the suffocating darkness of Victorian London, something unspeakable awakened. Autumn, 1888. The festering slums of Whitechapel became a hunting ground. 5 women, butchered, mutilated beyond recognition. Their killer moved like smoke through the fog, a phantom they would come to call Jack the Ripper. He carved his legend into their flesh. He vanished into myth, and he left behind a terror so profound that even now, over 130 years later, we still don't know his name. Who was the monster in human skin? Why did he stop? And how did he escape justice? Tonight, we descend into the abyss. Stay with me. 1888, London, the beating heart of the British Empire. But venture east from the marble monuments and gaslit grandeur, and you'll find a very different world. Whitechapel, a festering wound in the city's side. 78,000 souls crushed into a single square mile of decay. Workhouses, doss houses, gin palaces serving oblivion by the glass. Here, desperation wore a human face. Women, mothers, daughters, sisters, sold their bodies in shadowed alleyways for pennies. Not for pleasure, for survival. The police? Scotland Yard stumbled through investigations blind. No fingerprints, no forensics, no hope of catching a killer who knew these streets better than they did. The newspapers fed on fear like vultures, screaming headlines about Leather Apron, the phantom stalker lurking in every shadow. The stage was set. The perfect conditions for a predator. Dark, desperate, defenseless. And then he struck. They weren't just victims. They were women with names, with stories, with lives that mattered. Let me introduce you to the 5 souls whose murders would immortalize a monster. Marianne Nichols, 43 years old, once a wife, a mother, but poverty and alcohol had stripped everything away. August 31st, 1888, 2:30 a.m. She walks the streets of Whitechapel, searching for the price of a bed. 3:40 a.m. A body lies in Buck's Row, throat slashed so deeply the spine is nearly visible, abdomen torn open. No one heard a scream. The killer struck like lightning, silent, surgical, gone. Annie Chapman, 47, a crochet maker weakened by disease, barely surviving. September 8th. Dawn breaks. 5:30 a.m. she's seen haggling over money near Hanbury Street. 6 a.m. Her body is found in a backyard. This time the mutilations go deeper. Organs removed with disturbing precision. The Ripper was learning, perfecting his craft. September 30th, the night London learned true horror. Elizabeth Stride, 44, Swedish immigrant, found at 1 a.m. in Dutfield's yard, throat severed, but nothing more. Was he interrupted? Did something or someone disturb him mid-kill? Because he wasn't finished. 45 minutes later, Catherine Eddowes, 46 years old, discovered in Mitre Square. Her face mutilated beyond recognition. Kidney extracted, uterus removed with the skill of a surgeon. 2 women, 2 locations, 1 night, one killer. November 9th. Mary Jane Kelly, 25 years old, the youngest, an Irish singer who once had dreams. This time he had privacy, a room, time, control. When they found her at 10:45 a.m., her face was unrecognizable, her body dismantled. Organs arranged around the room like grotesque decorations. The room became an abattoir, a canvas for his madness. 5 women, all killed at night, all with throats cut left to right, a right-handed killer, all showing signs of anatomical knowledge. And then, nothing. After Kelly, the Ripper disappeared, vanished like he'd never existed. But why? While London trembled, someone began to play games. September 27th, a letter arrives at the Central News Agency, written in red ink, or was it blood? Dear boss, I am down on whores, and I shan't quit ripping them till I do get buckled. For the first time, a name, Jack the Ripper. Days later, a postcard, Saucy Jackie, mocking the double murder before police released the details. But nothing compares to what arrived on October 16th. George Lusk, head of the Whitechapel Vigilance Committee, opens a package. Inside, half a human kidney, preserved in wine. From hell. Mr. Lusk, I send you half the kidney I took from one woman. T'other piece I fried and ate it. It was very nice. Was it real? Was it the kidney taken from Catherine Eddowes? Hundreds of hoax letters flooded the city, but these felt different. Over 2,000 people investigated, thousands of hours, decades of theories. And yet, Jack the Ripper remains nameless. But some suspects haunt the case more than others. Montague John Druitt, 31, a barrister with surgical training. December 1888, weeks after the Kelly murder, his body is pulled from the Thames. Suicide. His own family suspected he was the Ripper. Did guilt drive him to the water? Or is this merely tragic coincidence? Aaron Kosminski, 23, a Polish immigrant, barber, schizophrenic. 2014, DNA extracted from a shawl found at the Eddowes crime scene matches his descendants. Case closed? Not quite. DNA contamination, chain of custody issues. The science remains disputed. He was institutionalized in 1891, removed from society. But was he the monster? Francis Tumblety, 55, an American con artist posing as a doctor, arrested in London during the murders for gross indecency. Then, he fled to America. He collected preserved uteruses in jars, bragged about hating women. But could a flashy, tall American really vanish into the fog of Whitechapel? Then there are the wilder theories. Royalty, Freemasons, conspiracies stretching to the palace itself. All thoroughly debunked. Romantic myths for those who want the story to be bigger than it was. Sometimes the truth is simpler. A man, a monster, lost to time. Why couldn't they catch him? Incompetence, primitive forensics, an investigation drowning in false leads and public hysteria. Perhaps he died shortly after Kelly. Disease, suicide, an unrelated crime. Or maybe he simply stopped, satisfied his urges, disappeared back into society. The fog swallowed him whole, and London never saw his face. Today, tourists walk the cobblestones of Whitechapel. Ghost tours, museums, books. Jack the Ripper failed to stay hidden, not because we caught him, but because we never forgot him. His shadow stretches across 130 years, and in that shadow, the victims still wait for justice. So, who do you think he was? Druitt? Kosminski? A name we've never heard? Tell me your theories in the comments below. If you survived this journey into darkness with me, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more forgotten horrors dragged into the light. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay out of the fog.